you look at this whole thing, that's what you're looking at, the telencephalon, this whole thing. Now, when you see these ridges and bumps, the ridges are gyrus. So he's got gyri. The ridges are gyri. The little depressions are sulci. So depression, sulci, the ridges, gyri, that gives you more surface area. More surface area you have, the more gray matter, more neuron cell bodies that you can pack in there. That's why you have them. Then you're going to have this big fissure. A fissure is a deep, deep sulcus. This is the longitudinal fissure right here. So this longitudinal fissure right here, it separates the right and left cerebral hemispheres. They're totally separate. Frontal lobe. First, you need to know what the central sulcus is. The central sulcus is this line right here. It's a depression. That central sulcus is going to separate the frontal lobe from the parietal lobe. Central sulcus. Precentral gyrus. Does he have that there?
No.
Precentral gyrus plus no. Okay. So frontal lobe, parietal lobe, they're separated by that central sulcus. And transverse fissure. So the transverse fissure is going to be the fissure that separates. Oh my gosh. I can't get that cerebellum in there right. Okay, well, the cerebellum's there. So the transverse is going to be separating the occipital lobe, which is the back here, from the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum. Okay, and then you have what else do you have? The frontal lobe, lateral ventricles,
which is the back one.
Transverse temporal lobe. So this is the temporal lobe. This is the lateral fissure. Let's see, lateral sulcus, same thing. Lateral sulcus, some people call it a lateral fissure. It's pretty deep. So this is the temporal lobe. It's below the lateral sulcus. Now, if you go inside the brain, well, the olfactory bulb is going to be here. This is the olfactory bulb. So these are on the frontal lobe. This is the olfactory nerve, olfactory bulb. So if we go on the inside, you are going to go, what does he have here? The corpus callosum. Corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is it's a white fiber tract that connects the two cerebral hemispheres so they can talk to each other. That is the only thing that's connecting the right and left hemispheres together, is that corpus callosum. That's how the hemispheres talk to each other. So corpus callosum is here. I think we got it all. So
Yeah.
the
Insula?
the insula is deep. You're not going to see it here.
Okay.
The insula is deep. It's another lobe, but it's deep. There it is.
Oh, that one.
There it is. It's deep. There it is.
All right.
Insula. There. Okay, so that was the telencephalon. Now the diencephalon. The area of the diencephalon is going to be this area right here. So it's got the thalamus is this bulge here. It's this bump. Thalamus, hypothalamus, below the thalamus, the pituitary gland, pineal gland. If you follow this is the choroid plexus of the third ventricle, but if you follow this all the way to this bump right here, and on this model it's number, is it 23? 23, that's your pineal gland. The pineal gland releases the hormone melatonin. The area of the third ventricle, this is the area of the third ventricle. That's why I was showing you this. This is the third ventricle. the thalamus and hypothalamus, they're all sitting right in this area of the third ventricle. The interventricular foramen, that is what's bringing the two lateral ventricles into the third ventricle. Interventricular foramen. You can't see it on here.
Yeah.
You can see it on the real brain, but you can't see it here. Infundibulum is this guy. The infundibulum is just that pituitary stalk that connects the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland.
So it's this.
It's that little screen, right?
It's that little, yeah, it's that little thing that connects, yeah. Third ventricle, infundibulum. The mammillary body is this number 24. I think, is that 24? Yeah, 24. So that was the diencephalon.
Yeah.
The mesencephalon, so he has the mesencephalon is like the, it's going to be this area here. If you can see that area right there. So it's below the diencephalon and it's above the pons. There's a pons, so it's that area right there. So you are going to see the cerebral aqueduct, which is right there. Which is this guy. Cerebral aqueduct is going right here, so it's draining the area, it's draining the third ventricle that lives here. Cerebral aqueduct. The corpora quadragemina. So you're going to have 4 bumps. So you got the, look at this. So the corpora quadragemina are these 4 bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why they call them quadragemina, because they're 4 bumps.
Oh, cool.
He doesn't have you don't need to know the superior and inferior curriculi? No? Okay. And the cerebral punctacles, I'm not sure
Peduncles.
where they are on here. I know they're connecting that to the cerebellum, so I'm not quite sure where they're on here. You might have to, the cerebral, I don't know where those are, so you might want to look those up.
Yeah, I think the video, the lady put the 2 cerebra together and
The 2 cerebellums?
there's 2.
Yeah, it's where they connect, but I'm not sure where they are on this. We probably would look that up. Here they are. There they are.
I got 32.
So it's like here it is superior, that's superior. So here's the corpora quadragemina. So they're saying this area, is it what number?
32, that's what he said.
32. I don't even see a 32. No, 32 is the cerebral aqueduct. To me, that's I don't know.
Okay.
But the punctacles are where the cerebellum is connected to the brainstem.
Okay.
So here they're showing it like that. So here you got the corpora quadragemina. Here's the cerebral punctacles right here, which to me would be here, because that's where this guy is connected to it on both sides. So, but I'm not sure which. So now you're going to the mesencephalon. So if you're like this, you had mesencephalon has the pons, the vermis. The vermis, where's the other guy? Is what connects the 2 cerebellums together. Vermis means worm. This one is not real good. But the vermis is going to be this area that connects the cerebellum together. So is that A? I don't even know which one is on here. But the vermis is a worm-shaped thing that connects the 2 cerebellums together. Vermis.
Bump in the middle of the cerebellum.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So it's like it just connects the 2 hemispheres of the cerebellum together. Cerebellum, cerebellar hemispheres. Got it right and left. Arbor vitae. That's the tree of life. So there's the tree of life. It's white matter. Looks like a tree.
Yeah.
Arbor Day. It's the white matter of the cerebellum. And the cerebellar cortex. It's the cortex, the outer part. The medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is just distal to the pons. That's the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata, once it goes to the foramen magnum, is going to be, then you go into the spinal cord. So medulla oblongata, and that's the area of the fourth ventricle. So here's the fourth ventricle. So this thing here is the fourth ventricle. Do you have to know the lateral and median apertures of the fourth ventricle?
No.
Somewhere? To get to the subarachnoid space?
No.
No? No? Okay. Well, so this big bulge here is the lateral ventricles. And then this is going to go into the central canal of the spinal cord once it leaves the brain.
Yeah. Cool.
So, got it?
Yeah. Thanks.